You're listening to the Putting Heads on Beds podcast, episode 1.
Welcome to the Putting Heads on Beds podcast, where through education, inspiration, and motivation, we help you to boost bookings and transform your business. And now, your host, Stephanie Thomas.
Hi everyone, it's Stephanie Thomas here, and welcome to Putting Heads on Beds, my brand new podcast show. A big thank you to all of you who've been encouraging me to get this podcast off the ground. It has been a huge work in progress. I can assure you it's no easy task to get a podcast up and running, but thank you so much for the encouragement and thank you for taking the time to listen. I want to start things off in this very first podcast episode by talking about maximising what other people say about you. Maximising guest testimonials. You know, once upon a time, it really didn't matter what people said about a place that they'd stayed at. Yes, some word of mouth marketing was very useful, but if people weren't happy with their stay, to be honest with you, they really couldn't do much damage. But today it is a very different story. In this online age, websites, social media, review sites, they all play a key marketing role in any business. And therefore, guest testimonials and reviews are more important than ever before. Today, I want to provide you with a simple 4-step formula to help you gain more powerful testimonials so that you can use them throughout all your different marketing materials. Now, you suddenly may be thinking, oh, I don't need to listen to this episode because I've already got loads of testimonials. And if that's the case, then that's really great. But please don't stop listening. Go with me right to the end of this episode and use what I share as a checklist that you're doing everything you can to gain powerful, and I mean really powerful, testimonials. I think that you'll still grab 1 or 2 really good nuggets along the way, new things that you could implement in your business. If you don't have a bank of powerful bookings boosting testimonials, then don't panic. Because my aim is that by the end of this episode, you'll be more motivated and more informed about why you need guest testimonials, and you'll also have a really clear plan of how you can go about getting them. Not only that, but you'll also know how to present them to potential guests in the very best way. You're probably going to take some notes, and that's great. But I'm also going to be showing you exactly how to do this in my freebie, my guest testimonial generator. In there are 3 swipe files, 3 templates for you to swipe, model, and put into place in your own business. To get your free copy, you just need to go to puttingheadsonbeds.com/001 download. And I'll also put a link to this in the show notes, so definitely get your hands on this. Do you know what? It really worries me when businesses don't have guest testimonials front and centre of their marketing efforts, because they are seriously missing out. Excellent testimonials from guests are no longer simply an advantage. Today they are a requirement. They are essential if you want a thriving and successful business. There really is no better way to easily secure new bookings than through powerful testimonials. And when you are active in encouraging such testimonials, it's going to help you to boost bookings very quickly and inexpensively. You know, whatever we buy, it's a fundamental human need to want evidence and proof that what's being promised is real and exactly what we're hoping for. Yes, a potential guest can read through some of the words you've put together, marketing your place, maybe on your website or in a brochure or on a leaflet. But you know, that's not enough. More importantly, they want to see testimonials and reviews from previous guests to confirm that what you're saying is actually true. Genuine, powerful testimonials provide them with the evidence that you are the real deal. and that you are actually as good as you say you are. Genuine, powerful testimonials are what will convince them to make the booking. At the time that someone's sort of thinking about whether or not to book with you, all sorts of things are going through their minds and worries and concerns, and it's your job through your marketing messages to take those worries away. But you need to make them feel confident that you are the best place to choose. And whilst you can say how great your establishment is and how amazing the service is that you provide, what would magnify those statements so many times over is when someone else is saying it on your behalf. What your guests say has far more credibility compared to what you say. You really need to leverage the huge power that comes from other people effectively selling you through what they say. However, from my experience, do you know what? So many accommodation providers are actually pretty lazy at doing this. The good news for you, however, is if you get good at it, then you are going to catapult yourself ahead of the competition. And that's what I'm going to help you to do today. So I'm going to share my 4-step formula. 4 easy steps. Step 1, ask. Step 2, collate. Step 3, present. And step 4, maximise. So let's start diving in deep to each of those steps. So the first step is that you simply ask your guest to provide you with a testimonial about their stay. Quite easy. But actually, I know that many of you often find asking for feedback a bit daunting. But honestly, if you don't ask, you won't receive. As long as you have wowed and delighted your guests during their stay, then the hours and the days after their visit is when they'll be most motivated to give a great testimonial. That's typically when they love you the most. So you need to ask straight away before this honeymoon period is over. You need to put a system in place to collect and capture testimonials during that honeymoon period. A system that you feel comfortable using, but also one that motivates your satisfied guests to help you. A big challenge, though, is getting your guests to give you something more than a one-liner, something more than just wonderful B&B or highly recommend or great place to stay. What you really want are more detailed, powerful testimonials in which your guests go more in depth into why they chose you and all the different things that make your place a great place. The more detailed that testimonial, the more effective it will be in helping you to get more bookings. Now, I know you're probably sat there at the minute shouting at me saying, "You are kidding, Steph, aren't you? You want me to ask my guests for testimonials, that's bad enough. But you want me to ask them to make sure that they're detailed testimonials rather than a one-liner?" Look, don't worry, I'm going to make this easy for you. I'm not saying that you should ask them in person because, as I said earlier, most of us find that pretty daunting. Instead, what you can do is make it really easy by creating a guest survey that simply asks the right questions. From your guest answers, you'll then be able to create powerful, detailed testimonials. You'll be able to leave the guest survey in their room or their cottage. You can leave it on the reception desk, wherever they'll see it. And if they don't complete one during their stay, then what you can do is email it to them once they've returned home. As I said, I have got a great freebie for you this week. And one of the swipe files that I've included in my guest testimonial generator is a copy of my original guest survey, including all the questions I asked. I've done all the hard work for you, so you can go and grab that, swipe that survey and start using it in your business. Don't forget, it's at puttingheadsonbeds.com/001 download. If you've already got a guest survey in place, then well done you. Huge brownie points there. But still download it because you can use it as a checklist just to make sure that you're asking all the right questions. So a guest survey is a really good way to get powerful feedback. But there's an even better way, and that is to ask your guests to do a video testimonial. Now, I know that most of you won't feel brave enough to do this at the moment, but for those of you who are prepared to step outside your comfort zone and ask for video testimonials, then you are going to seriously reap the rewards. At every opportunity, try to get video testimonials from your guests, because they're the next best thing to actually having that guest sit down with a prospective guest and actually tell them in person how great you and your establishment are. This doesn't need to be complicated, and to be honest with you, you can do it in literally just a few minutes. You don't need complex cameras or equipment. We've all got mobile phones now with amazing video quality, so Maximise this. Do not be afraid of just asking guests to give a short video testimonial before they leave you. Just say to them, we're trying to put together some testimonials for our website, and I wonder if you'd be happy for me to just ask you 3 questions about your stay, and if I just video that chat. What you don't want to do when asking guests to record a testimonial is make it too lengthy a process. So you certainly wouldn't ask as many questions as you ask in your guest survey. You want to keep it short and sweet and very easy for the guest, so I personally recommend you just ask them 3 questions. What you need to do is film this from sort of your shoulder. If you can imagine you're stood face to face with your guests, so they're looking at you, hold the mobile phone or the little video camera, whatever you're using, sort of up on your right hand shoulder and record their face from there. Because it's so powerful. It's a little bit like when somebody interviews on the telly. What happens for the guest is that they're just talking to you face to face, so they're far more relaxed. And all you need to do is hit record on the mobile phone or the video camera, and before you ask them the 3 questions, just say to them, could you just tell me your name and the town that you live in? When they've done that, then ask them the 3 questions one at a time, letting them answer each one before you ask them the next. And here's the 3 questions you need to ask. What did you think of your stay at Bramble House? Obviously, you're putting the name of your establishment in there. So what did you think of your stay at Bramble House? The second question is, why did you choose to stay with us as opposed to anywhere else? And the third question is, what would you say to somebody else who's thinking of staying here? The guest doesn't need to practice. They don't need to read anything or remember anything. And they don't have time to get nervous. They're actually just talking to you. The fact that you've just got a little video camera on them, they're not aware of that because they've got that contact with you. What you get is a nice, natural and genuine minute-long video. Now, as I said, I know that only a few of you will embrace the challenge of video testimonials and reap the rewards, but I really encourage you to try to do it. You will be surprised at how easy it is and actually what amazing results you'll see. So, the first step is to ask your guests for feedback, either through your guest survey or a video testimonial. But the job is only half done. Step number 2 is to collate. You need to start editing and turning all these responses into powerful testimonials. Now, I'm not saying here that you should alter or change what your guest says in your guest survey. You know, you want to keep the tone and style of what they say as much as possible, because then people will realise they really are genuine testimonials. But what you do want to do is to help your guests to give really powerful testimonials. So that means going through their responses to your survey questions, picking out the most powerful bits and forming them into a great testimonial. Or if your guests have provided a video testimonial, you might want to do a quick edit of the video. And there's loads of free and easy software out there that can help you do that. If you need to, once you've done the tweaks and finalised the testimonials, you can always get your guests' approval before you post it publicly. But to be honest with you, if you haven't altered it majorly, then you shouldn't need to do this. So you've now got a great selection of powerful testimonials, but it doesn't stop there. Step 3 is present. You need to present them properly as well. And this is an area so many business owners overlook. So where should you promote them? Well, basically, everywhere. First of all, you must put them on your website. You need to have a page on your website of guest testimonials, but please don't call it testimonials in the menu bar. Make it stand out by saying something like what our guests say or in their own words. Kind words, fantastic feedback, rave reviews. Be a bit creative here. And what you don't want on that page is just half a dozen or 10 testimonials on there. Overwhelm with evidence. Put 40 or 50 testimonials on there. But you also need to include testimonials on every other page on your website too. You want them on your About Us page, your Rooms page, your Breakfast page, your Special Offers page, even on your Contact Us page and your Meet the Team page. You need to weave testimonials around all of your website pages. Make sure there are several testimonials on each page that reinforces the marketing message that you're saying. Having testimonials on every single page of your site will seriously increase bookings. It's subliminal selling at every single step of the visitor journey. So if you've got testimonials relating specifically to one of your rooms, then make sure you include it next to the room description and the Book Now button. If someone said something nice about you or a member of your team, add that testimonial to your Meet the Team page. If you ask someone to subscribe to your newsletter or free guide, and I really hope you're doing this, then make sure you've also got a testimonial right next to the sign-up box. Now, a really important tip here. People skim read your website. Nobody will read your web pages from beginning to end apart from you. People don't have time. Time's very precious. And we all do it. You look at something online and you literally skim read. So you've got to make sure that your testimonials stand out when people do this. And the best way to do it is you need to make sure that every testimonial has a headline. Just include sort of 5, 6 or 7 word headline that summarises the testimonial. This makes it really powerful. So if all website visitors do is skim over the headlines, they clearly get a message of how great you are. So put a headline and then underneath that headline, put the testimonial in full, but remember to put speech marks at either end because this makes it really clear that a real life guest has said the words. And underneath that, use the full name of the guest. Don't just put initials because that would diminish the value of the testimonial. And add the town that they live in because what that does, it makes it more authentic and real. And there's more. If possible, include a photo of them because this really will help to boost bookings. Now, other things that you can do also, you need to take photos of comments in your guest book and add them to your website as a blog post and share them out on social media too. And if people have left testimonials or reviews on sites such as Facebook or TripAdvisor, screenshot those testimonials and add them to your website too. And again, share them out on social media. Now, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be doing an episode all about your website. I think it's episode 4. And I'll be diving deeper into how you can really optimize your website. We'll be talking a little bit more about your testimonials page on there as well. So make sure you check that one out and listen to that episode. There'll be some really good top tips to making sure your website's performing well and it really is the best that it can be. But it's not just your website that you need to promote your testimonials on. You also need to include testimonials in all your adverts. You should have at least 2 guest testimonials in every single advert you have, whether it's in a brochure, a tourist guide, a magazine, a newspaper, whether they're in online directories. Testimonials are your number 1 marketing weapon and they will help your adverts to seriously stand out from the crowd. So every single ad you run should have comments from your guests saying how good you are. You also can put testimonials up on your wall. Seriously, put a handful of your best guest testimonials on the walls of your reception area or your public rooms. Why wouldn't you want someone to read them? Don't be shy. Get them up there. And having testimonials on display like that actually makes it so much easier to get new testimonials because people are far more willing when they've seen others have already done the same. Now, I don't mean just sticking up an A4 piece of paper with a printed testimonial on it here. Get them framed nicely, make a feature of them. If possible, include a photo, whoever wrote the testimonial. But these really will look good, and they do become a real talking point. We all know how much guests like looking back through the comments in a guest book. Well, this takes it one step further. And put your testimonials in your email footers. Always add a great couple of testimonials to the bottom of your emails and then change them on a regular basis. Put a diary note in, so every other month you're changing them and putting a couple of new testimonials there. Every email you send out should be sharing what other people say about you. And you need to put your testimonials in your social media descriptions. Whatever social media platforms you market your business on, you need to include testimonials in your About section, your page descriptions, and you need to regularly include them in your posts. So I'm hoping you're getting the idea here. Basically, you need to put testimonials everywhere you can. So we're on to step 4 now, and that is Maximise. There's one final really powerful thing you can do to really maximise your guest testimonials. Now, this one thing played a major role in increasing our conversion rate to over 86%. That's the number of inquiries that we managed to convert into actual bookings. Now, I've only shared this with my private clients until now, but you can access it in today's freebie in my guest testimonial generator. And honestly, it really is one of the most powerful bookings booster I ever put in place in my business. And I did it just with guest testimonials. So don't forget to grab your copy of that. So today I've shared my 4-step formula to help you to gain even more powerful testimonials. Hopefully you're now motivated and more informed about why guest testimonials are so important. And you now have a clear plan of how you can go about getting them. And you also know how to best present those testimonials to your potential guests. But I don't want to leave it there. If you don't already have a bank of excellent guest testimonials on your website and in all the other places that you're marketing your business, if you've just got short one-liner testimonials that are pretty boring and bland, then I have got an additional challenge for you. Now, a warning here, it is not for the faint-hearted. It's going to take some work and effort on your part, but honestly, it will really be worth it. I want you to go over your list of past guests and make a note of those who have thoroughly enjoyed their stay with you. I'm talking about those guests who really love you, who raved about everything you offered, and who would be more than happy to help you out. And what I want you to do is write a testimonial for them. Now, don't panic. I'm not suggesting that you do something immoral here. I'm not suggesting that you should cut out the middleman and just write the testimonial yourself and be done with it. What I am suggesting is that you just help those guests to write their testimonials, because the chances are they'd actually struggle with what to say if you ask them. We all know how our own minds go blank when we're asked to write a review, and it's no different from them. If you write to them just asking for a testimonial, to be honest with you, they'll just put it off because they won't know what to say, and you'll just be waiting for them to send you a testimonial, and you might just keep waiting. Instead, what I want you to do is write the testimonial for them, focusing, of course, on the key benefits that you want it to focus on, all the benefits that you promote in your marketing messages. And then I want you to contact that guest by email, because time is of the essence here, and say to them, I'm just updating our website and I'm trying to collect testimonials from our guests to feature on it. Tell them that you've crafted a little testimonial that you think represents their experience when they stayed with you. Ask them to have a look at it, and if they're happy with it, could you use it on your website and put their name to it? You need to make it clear to them that they can make any changes to it if they want to. And if they're not happy for you to use it, then you won't. You won't include it on anything. Most of the time, your guests will email you back with, at most, a couple of changes. And they'll just tell you that they're really pleased to put their name to the testimonial. And they'll probably thank you for saving them the time and the trouble of writing it themselves. I know from first-hand experience that most people are really open to this idea because it saves them time. And when your guests love you, they really want to help you. I didn't start implementing a process for collecting guest testimonials in my business until about 2 years after we'd started. And by that time, hundreds of guests had walked through our doors. And when I recognised that I needed more powerful testimonials if I wanted more bookings, then I carried out this exercise. And I got amazing testimonials out of it. I also asked for a photo, and actually probably 40% of the time I actually got one, which meant that 40% of my testimonials had real life photos of my guests alongside them. So powerful. And I've actually helped countless clients to carry out this exercise in their own business since then. And every time they get a whole host of powerful testimonials back. Yes, this will take a little bit of work, but what you get at the end, honestly, it will be so worth it. And to help you, one of the swipe files in my guest testimonial generator is a copy of my original testimonial request email. So you can swipe and deploy that in your own business today. So get your free copy, puttingheadsonbeds.com/001 download. Remember, the easier you make it for your guests to give you testimonials, the more you'll get. And you know what? You can't have too many testimonials. So start introducing a new system to ask for and use great guest testimonials in your business today. Make sure you've got a process in place to ask all of your new guests for a testimonial either during their stay or at least within the first week of them returning home. And then promote those testimonials everywhere. So that's us at the end of this week's episode. Thank you so much for being here with me. I can't wait to speak to you again soon. And until then, bye for now.
And that's a wrap for this week's show. Thanks for listening to the Putting Heads on Beds podcast. Make sure you visit us at creatingbookings.com.